Good morning all, hope you're doing well. We're very extreme on our risk calculation on our market sentiment summary. There's 32 people short in indices versus the one person buying. They've added short over the last 24 hours. So it's getting a bit bonkers. We're 50-50 on the technicals. So that's, a bit iffy. But just to say is that we are quite strongly risk on at the big picture. But on the other hand, the herd are going to get blown up. They'll have to get blown up. If they exit en masse, then we'll see a top. But I don't know if we're going to see new bulls or new bears. So if we get new bears in, then it's going to make it worse. If we've got new bulls coming in, then we can be at a top. So it's very extreme. Got to be careful. We could be at a top because we've got the FOMC tomorrow, and we might be risk off. So, but if we did fall, it would be well supported technically anyway. So you could be really, really careful about shorted indices. They've gone long AJ and they've shorted NJ. They're very short the New Zealand dollar and they're long yen. As you can see, they're selling the New Zealand dollar. So when there's a blue bit below this line, it tells us that they're shorting. So if they're shorting the Kiwi, it should do okay. But what we'll see some we'll see extremes. Down here there's some stops. Basically, they were short New Zealand dollar, and they've got pretty much destroyed. And what will happen if that bubble gets smaller? It will gravitate over here, and then it will become a strong sell. All right. So this action here is buy. This action here is sell, and it just goes round. And it's a big cycle of profit taking from the banks, and it's just a big wash machine for the retail herd, and they're getting chewed up. So be aware that gold's over here in the buy, and I'll show you gold actually, to be honest, while I'm here. Click gold, and you can see what's happened with gold is that they've shorted it. They sold it here, and then they sold it again. Admittedly, we had a chop, but they did sell it here. So we're going to get one here. So I think there's going to be a third time they're going to do it. So 1, 2, see that arrow, and we're going to get a third arrow, and then we're going to probably come up. And the thing is with the gold is that we did reach 2000, and it got a lot of people interested, and they wanted to short it. And of course, we had a dip below there. It's all a bit naughty, and up we come. So that dip below got them interested. And of course we rallied. Right, so interesting about that gold bubble. So we'll have to wait and see. Possible that the dollar is going to come down here in a strong buy. So I'm worried about putting out a Dixie trade idea until the FOMC tomorrow. Okay, so we had a long on the Dixie. We took profit here, and you could argue we took profit too early because we can see how we're just slightly above our TP. But we'll have to wait and see. We're out now anyway, and what I'll probably do is look for a sell on this after tomorrow's Fed minutes. Okay, so we had a long, we took profit, perhaps too early, but it's still profit. Ideally, I didn't want that to be above there, but it is what it is. We got out because of that candle here. We had a big doji. It's quite a big indecision candle there, and but then we had to follow the bearish day, and it looks like we might just be teetering above where we exited, but it's fine, and we can come back to it tomorrow for a sell. Okay, so that's the Dixie wrapped up. We'll look at it tomorrow evening, Wednesday. Okay, so that's the FOMC. We need to be aware of that, and it might even come out on Thursday. Oh yeah, by the way, we just got the buy on gold. We just got the arrow. See the arrow? Of course, it opens up on the hour, and so therefore that's going to be a support at 2018. Because they've sold it, that's going to be a support, because there has to be someone to take the other side of that trade. So if they sell it en masse, there's going to be someone of humongous pockets, like a large entity, who has to take the other side of that trade. So 2018 should be a support. Okay, so this is how you can use it for trade ideas. There's your stop loss here, right, and then you're looking for a free R. So come back. We'll look at this tomorrow and then we'll have a proper trade idea set up on Thursday. Okay, yeah. So that's that. So that's the bubble's a little bit weird and a bit out of bonk, but just being a bit worried about that dollar right now. And I think it's moved. I think that moved, didn't it? Let's have a look. Average bubbles. Yeah, I think it's gravitated. Yeah, dollar is being sold. If it's getting sold, it's going to be a stronger buy. In fact, we are below the 50% now. We're at 47.57, so we're now in the buy territory. So be careful with the dollar. So this can do okay because they've sold the dollar, and so the next one on the menu is the pound. So the pound USD is going to be worth watching. The dollar is going to try and target that, and what will happen will be a big battle on GU, on cable, and depending on risk appetite, you'll have to see which one wins. But I think it's got its eyes on pound. Once it's destroyed that, it's got its eyes on the New Zealand dollar, where I think it's hitting stops right now, and that's looking to retreat. Okay, so if that bubble size gets smaller, it's going to move, and then the dollar will just have to be, just be concerned with the pound, and it could easily destroy the pound if we go risk off. Okay, so that's that. QDB scores, how are we looking? Dollar has got a good score, whereas the pound has got a poor score. It's not that bad. The weakest is the Swiss franc, and the euro is quite weak as well. So they are net short EU, so it should do okay, but just being worried about that dollar bubble as well. And so they're getting paid in the Aussie longs, and they're selling dollar, and that's fine because the dollar is punishing them, so that's fine. The dollar is correct because they've sold it, hence that minus. Price is positive. They've gone long Aussie, but yet price is positive, so Aussie is being a bit naughty, but dollar is behaving because they've sold it, so they're getting punished. Okay, so I think we might see a strong dollar today, so you've got to be careful. And quickly talk about the robot. And we've got EU longs. We got a few sells and a few longs. We had quite like a hodgepodge of signals yesterday because we had the US President's Day, and it's very low volatility, and the bubbles are going back and forth. And because of that, we had lots of buys and sells. So we've got a slightly wider stop now, and we did mean that we needed that wide stop to cater for that. This move here yesterday, yeah, that was yesterday, wasn't it? So we have to have a slightly wider stops than we did before because it's ranging quite strongly, in that range, and this got us out of quite a huge loss on Friday. So we are down quite a bit because we were above the 1500, and of course this move here from the PPI on Friday, it did take us out a lot, but now we've got the sensible TP and SL, we should be alright. And just to recap is that we are using the average daily range of there for our TP and SL, so that will be it's dynamically changing pending the volatility of the Euro USD pair. So be wary because the gold has made a buy, but we're getting a stronger dollar, so there's going to be quite a funny tricky session today in front of us. 2025 and 2012 possible there, and then possible there even, where we're going to get some support at the MVP line there. So possible, I think, up first, then potentially even down, and it might be this would be the FOMC where it's going to be the buy after the drop. It might do this just to rinse some people out, and then when we'll take some stops out, we'll have MVP support, and then we can do that. So up then down, I think, in the next 24 hours. So 2025 eyes, we're not that far away. And that's today's video. So be aware about the dollar. If you want access to the sheet, let me know. It's really useful, and it's quite interesting to see what's going to happen as well, because you can see how there's going to be a battle, and it's quite interesting to watch. So you can put GU up on your chart and you'll know there's going to be quite a lot of volatility in that particular currency pair, and you know why, because of the sentiment. So that's today's video. Trade safely, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.